Hi everybody, thank you so much for joining me. It's Debra Lynn Rosenbach. If it's your first time here on my channel, thank you so much for joining me. And if you've been here before, welcome back. Today I'm going to do an abstract watercolor, and it's going to be a landscape, and it's going to be done using you can use a palette knife, you can use a stiff credit card. I'm using a stiff scraper, one that you would use to clean like the paint off of a window. And these are the paints that I'm using. I'm using Undersea Green, Jaded Genuine, Cascade Green, Apatite Genuine, Gambros, Sepia, and then I eventually add indigo in. And I'm going to be using Canson Heritage 300-pound paper, okay? And you put water at the bottom, and then you put water at the top, but you leave a section in the middle open for your actual landscape, that all the pigments are going to go in that middle, and then you're going to feed water into it, and it's going to start creating this beautiful effect. Now I kind of overlapped here and didn't allow enough space between, so I went in and kind of blotted that up. But as you can see, I'm putting a lot of layers. Now I'm using a Hurricane brush that holds a tremendous amount of water. Okay, if you don't have one of these, they're really inexpensive, and they're a tool that I believe every watercolor artist should have. So you need to invest into some Hurricane brushes. They have them from small to monster, okay? And that's the tool I'm using. Excuse me, it's just a stiff scraper. And I just lined up all my colors in a little row like soldiers, and I just dragged the tool through it, and I just dragged it across the page. And I'm finding out at this point I need indigo, because I'm seeing the paint going up and it's green, and it's like, oh my god, I don't want a green sky. So I throw the indigo in there, and by doing that somehow I get indigo all over the bottom. And you got to be careful. I made a mistake with my brush in this painting. I kind of marred the paper in a couple areas. I scratched it by pressing too hard. The little wood area on the brush kind of scraped against the paper and kind of scratched it in a couple areas. So, you know, we have to be careful with our paper, and I was being a little bit too rough. When you're using this kind of, you're doing this technique, you're going to definitely need this 300-pound paper, because with the 300-pound paper comes 300 pounds of water. I'm not kidding you. You're going to use 300 pounds of water. No, you're not. Okay, close to it. And with that, you're going to need a very absorbent towel, because it's just a steady stream of fluid, of water and pigment that's going to keep coming off this painting until you get it to where you want it. It's a very messy process. So if you think you can get away with doing this with like newspapers or paper towels and whatever, you're going to have a mess to clean up. So I learned to just get an old bath towel or an old hand towel, and that seems to work. And since this was a smaller sheet, I was able to just use a little hand towel. Now I've done a full sheet before doing one of these, and that needed a full bath towel. So the other thing is sometimes just putting the paint down with the scraper, you're not going to get the pigments in the locations that you really want them, and you may have to go in with a paintbrush like I'm using my long round right now, and go in and feed in some pigments that need to be added. So, and it's all up to our discretion. It's really pretty before I started doing that. It would have been fine just at that painting at that level right there. I could have been done with it, but I don't know how to stop sometimes. And look at, I got a big streak through the middle, but I take care of that. But it's a constant moving the paper, horizontally, vertically, yeah, making it, putting it at an angle, doing all different things with the paper. So now imagine doing that, okay, with the 400-pound paper. It wouldn't be stiff, it would be wet, it would be floppy, and it would be dripping all over, and I don't see it working, people. Okay, I have never even tried it with 140 pounds because I cannot imagine doing this with 140 pounds. Okay, but if you've done it and you were successful, let me know. But I have not tried 140 pounds. So I'm throwing some Dr. P.H. Martin's Bleed Proof White down. If you don't know what this is, then you definitely are new to my channel. I tend to use this a lot. It is a kind of a gouache. Some people seem to think it's ink because you find it in Dr. P.H. Martin's ink section usually. It's not. It is actually, if you go to Dr. P.H. Martin's website, you will find that they will tell you that it is a watercolor, but it is very opaque, okay? And it covers, it'll cover ink. It will cover. So if you have paint on your finger and you touch your painting and you hate it, that white's gonna cover it up. Now here's what happened. I used transparent yellow right there. I made a mistake because once I did that, I realized, oh my God, yellow and blue make green. I'm gonna have a green sky. What the heck did I do? So I go in and I start throwing some Dr. P.H. Martin's Bleed Proof White on it with some water, and look at what it's doing. It took care of the sky. Okay, and it's also bleeding into the bottom of the painting, and I threw it on there, and look at the effects that it's giving that painting. This stuff is fab. I love it. Some people may think, oh, that's not the proper way to, that's not how you do watercolors. Well, I'm not like other people. That's why I label myself more as not a purist. Although this watercolor is pure, it's all 100% watercolor. I tend to like to use other mediums in my paintings. I'm always trying to seek interest. Might be an iridescent medium, might be an acrylic, might be an ink, or it's P.H. Martin, but that's watercolor. But some people don't view it that way. I think if you put your art in a judging competition, I'm pretty sure it would probably pass the standards for watercolor, because it's actually a watercolor. Because ink, once you put it down, there's no budging it. You can't budge it. This bleed proof white, you can blast it with water and poof, it's gone. So it's a watercolor. And right now I'm just putting some pink Himalayan rock salt down, and I'm gonna let that sit and see what happens. And I'm also going in with some granulation medium, and I'm trying to break up some areas. Right up there at the horizon line, right there, looks like trees, but at this right now they were actually looking like coral. So I needed to break that up, and by using this granulation medium, it did break it up and made it look better than it was, because I didn't want it to look like some kind of sea creatures coming up. So, and you can see how cool the effects are using that. I love this stuff. So I put that all aside, and I'm going to let this just, I guess I'm not done with the rock salt. I'm putting more down. So I'm just I'm just going to let this dry and see what happens. Now I'm throwing this rock salt down, and the paper is already starting to dry quite a bit. It didn't have much of a sheen on it. You need to be throwing this salt down when there's more sheen on it. Mine was losing that sheen, but I was still hoping that maybe something might happen. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. In this case, I let it dry and I bring it back, and you'll see that it didn't do much. Okay, I'm just picking off a few that are left, and I just go in and I'm just doing some final touch-ups, and for the most part that's my painting. So I'll let you guys continue watching to the very end if you want to see what I do to finish out this painting. But it's a really easy and fun process. I might do a couple more of these while I have this week off. They're just relaxing and fun and cool. I can definitely sell this with no problem, or give it to somebody and they would absolutely love it, and they would have no idea that it was actually super easy. But don't ever tell anybody that. That's our secret. Okay, you guys, well, thank you so much for tuning in, and if you haven't subscribed, please do. I need subscribers. I'm trying to grow in this YouTube community, and if you are already subscribed, I really appreciate you doing so, and I look forward to producing some more for you. And in the meantime, you guys be well, be safe out there, and God bless. Bye now.